I think we're live. Oh, yeah, we're live. Hey, everybody.
All right.
Sorry.
Hey there. We're sitting there. Hey, I see us up on that.
We click the button, and then there's some non-specified, pregnant pause, and there's nothing to signify the end of that pause for us.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
And so it's like,
join us. Here we go.
Oh, here we are.
Damn it. I'm trying to use my text expander, but it's not quite.
Sometimes it doesn't work.
Got it. We record 2 episodes. We are going to record 4 episodes today.
And you'll see 3 of them.
And you'll see 3. We have a private episode coming up, but it'll
eventually be public. I'm pretty sure. It's not my intention to
I understand.
Make things weird at all.
I like it. I like it. It's good. It's full of intrigue and so it's nice. So, thank you for just joining us. We're going to record, you'll be with us for 3 episodes because we're recording 2 for this week. We record 2 every week. But then one of us is doing traveling or something next week.
Yeah, I got to go to podcast movement. That's right.
That's right. Dave's got to have a movement. And then we're going to, we're going to record Wednesday the 26th and then the 28th. Friday episode, and then we're going to record April 2nd episode, and then we're going to go off air and record the episode for April 4th and see if we air that. We'll see.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. That's right. Cool. Yes. Correct.
That's great. Correct. And I have a horrific customer service story to share in our first episode, and I
love that.
I'm going to try to contain myself because, as you know, we're all in the customer service business. As Dave so often reminds
every
us.
business is in the customer. If you've got a business that doesn't require customers, call me immediately.
Yeah.
I will invest. As long as it can be profitable without requiring customers.
Of course.
I'm in.
Let's see if I can
I'm in.
You're in.
Yeah.
Okay, if I can move that.
And I already know the people I'm going to hire that I don't trust with customers.
Yes, that's perfect. That's like a whole new business right there.
Whole new
Bad
thing.
customer service placement business.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I got a horrific person that makes everybody angry. So that's perfect.
Yeah, they're terrible with customers. They're perfect for whatever business you're about to send me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will sprinkle my magic fairy dust on that idea for sure.
Perfect.
Perfect.
You're looking
okay.
Ready to go. Okay. I'm ready to go.
Are you ready?
Yeah. I can be ready.
All right. Here goes nothing. Business brain. Oh, shoot. I think I screwed that up. I might not have. It might be all right. Fine. Business brain, episode 634 for Wednesday, March 26th. Live long and prosper day, 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, we crunch them, we dissect them, we discuss them, we use them to tune and tweak our business brains so that we can each keep living those charmed lives. Sponsors for this episode, easy for me to say, includes Shopify.com/businessbrain. You can sign up for a $1 per month trial period. And then Rogue Amoeba software, making some great Mac audio software that can do local transcriptions. MacAudio.com/brain is where you go to download free trials and save 20% with code BRAIN. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And here in Northern California, I'm Shannon Jean. We always have an official day, but today for me is official first time wearing shorts for 2025. Yeah, because it's going to be 78 degrees here today.
Yeah.
Some early spring weather. So, I'm happy to be here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have not worn shorts. Did I wear shorts at home? We had a warm spell. I don't think I did. I probably could have. But I wore shorts when I was in Austin for South by Southwest and all that. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Hey, but, we're pretty upbeat here, pretty positive, very optimistic. But I want to talk about a horrible customer service experience and see what we can learn from it.
Okay.
How not to. So I had, for years, an account, and I'm just going to say who it is, doesn't matter. It's an account with Bluehost. They were they handled my managing domains that I use. They handled some WordPress sites that I managed, even my own domain at shannongene.com they handled.
Yep.
And last year, and I should say they were great for a number of years. And I believe they've since been sold to some sort of private equity thing or something like that.
Probably makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, makes sense. So last year I had some problems. My sites started getting hacked and it went crazy and I couldn't get fixed. And every time I tried to get help, I was just sold and upsold into some other security thing, but it always fell back on me and they couldn't help me and this and that. It was a terrible experience. So I moved a bunch of my sites off of Bluehost and I went with a new provider, actually a great company called Eversight. They helped me out, fix some stuff in the middle of the night. It was great.
Okay. This all sounds very positive so far.
Super, super, super. So I had just left my domains there.
Okay.
This was a mistake.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Foreboding. So
that's what yachts are for.
Yes, foreboding. That's it. I like it.
That's a Rocky Horror callback. Well, it's actually a Rocky Horror callback.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And that's foreboding of an episode that we're going to have in a week from today. Yeah. I'll review the new Strange Journey film because it's all about Rocky Horror and it is a fantastic business story, which I didn't realize when I first sat down to watch the movie. But anyway,
it's perfect.
Please
anyway,
continue.
So I had a hosting plan.
Yep.
And then I just had domains. So I had my domains set up to point to various other companies, right? Because I had changed. I wasn't hosting with them anymore. So I said, well, just, I registered the domains. I can just change the DNS, right?
Yep.
And that's normal. Every ISP, every GoDaddy, Namecheap, whatever. I've always
registrar is what we call them, right? The people that we register.
You have access to your DNS, and you could just change stuff and point and say, well, when you go to Shannon Gene, or in the case that happened this last week as a nonprofit that I help manage, you go to their website, it redirects to this other place.
Yeah.
Well, my hosting service ended.
Okay.
And Bluehost blew up every one of those DNS records.
Oh, wait. So they stopped hosting
the website,
your website, and then also stopped being your master DNS?
They didn't stop the master DNS. They reset it to their defaults.
Oh, of course, because you stopped paying for their hosting service.
But I've never paid for hosting, and so maybe I'm in the wrong here. So you can check me. Maybe I'm in the wrong.
I could be a misunderstanding. I'm just some guy in a freezing cold studio. So
yeah, that's right. I've had domains registered, GoDaddy, Namecheap, whatever, and I never pay for hosting. But I use the DNS. I don't have a hosting plan.
I understand.
I use their DNS. So my thought, and if you're listening at home, playing along at home, you can tell me if I'm wrong at feedback@businessbrain.show. The hosting plans are separate from your domains and DNS.
That's generally how it is. You pay
not at Bluehost.
You pay the DNS to renew every year.
Yeah, renew every year. You're in control of your DNS.
As part of that, they give you the ability to manage DNS, but not at Bluehost or Eversight. Which one? Okay.
No, not at Bluehost. Eversight saved me. They were great. But Bluehost fell apart. So I battled back and forth with them. Finally, I have to transfer this domain out of Bluehost to get control of it again. And did you know that? And again, maybe my experience is different, but it takes 3 to 4 days for Bluehost to issue you a code to transfer your domain.
I really try hard not to swear when we do this show, but and I will refrain.
Yes.
But that's BS, Shannon.
Right?
That's
that
BS.
Code should be instant.
Instantaneous. Correct.
There is that is we don't want you to leave.
Yes.
And we want you to wait and change your mind. And that's ridiculous, dude.
But that's not we don't want you to leave. We want you to suffer.
Yes,
because you're leaving.
I have been suffering because I eventually.
Oh yeah,
it's been, dude. I hit the ceiling. And I had to go register another domain so I could get back control of this web. It was brutal. And
right, because you couldn't even log in because there was nowhere to log in because you didn't have a domain pointed at it. Yeah, I got it.
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
So, and every time I reached out to Bluehost to have help, their answer was, you need to buy a hosting package to manage. I said, no, I do not. And so we went round and around and around. And I will just say, they used to be amazing. They were very helpful years, maybe 3 years ago.
The economy has changed things.
Must have.
But, I mean, obviously,
I get it.
Things are softer currently.
Yes. It's not the people that were trying to help me. It's not their fault. Not at all. They're just trying to, hey, I'm typing in your chat. I'm trying to help you. But the policies that they have where you're not in control of your domains unless you have a hosting package with them. That's really what it comes down to.
You're right. No, that's
BS.
It should be separate. So I have a story that I want to share, but I'm not going to. In the interest of time and just keeping things positive.
My rant is done, and I'm a very positive person.
I will offer one of the most positive things I have found for hosting domains, registering domains, and that is Cloudflare. Cloudflare, it's a relatively new thing for Cloudflare. Only the last few years.
They're usually the domain protection type thing, right?
You can manage your DNS with them for free. And that's what I've been doing for a very long time. And I highly recommend that unless you have a specific reason not to use Cloudflare, as a default, I recommend you use Cloudflare to manage your DNS. Even if you register your domain with GoDaddy or Namecheap or somebody else, right?
I don't know how to do that. How do you...
You just sign up for a Cloudflare account, and they will walk you through making them the domain managers, right?
No charge.
Correct. And Cloudflare's whole mission is to make the internet fast, secure, private, all that stuff. So they do a great job managing DNS. In fact, I would say probably 30% of the internet's DNS runs through Cloudflare anyway. So they're super fast and all that stuff.
That's great.
A few years ago, they added the ability to transfer your domains to them and have them be your registrar, and they don't mark that up much, if at all.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're one of the cheapest registrars, and now you can actually register new domains through them. So
I like it.
I've moved every one of my domains to Cloudflare, and I'll leave it positive.
Yeah. That's great. Put a link in the show notes. And
it's absolutely
and again, this is like if your business just went offline.
Yeah,
like this, and then I got a lot going on. I'm not going to.
Evidently, your rant wasn't over. But that's
I know. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done. But so I'm just trying to say the seriousness of it is your business goes offline and it takes you 3 days to get control of your website again.
No bueno.
They'd be unheard of.
No bueno.
So thank you for the tip. I'm going to move.
Check out Cloudflare. I'll put a link in the show.
Awesome.
Notes. Yeah. All right. Selling merch for my other podcasts and even my other businesses used to feel like trying to juggle flaming swords blindfolded. But then I started using our sponsor, Shopify, and now it's so smooth. It almost seems like Shopify is secretly reading my mind. They're not, but it's so good. Nobody does selling better. Shopify powers the #1 checkout on the planet. And with Shop Pay boosting conversions up to 50%, it's like having a virtual salesperson working 24/7, except this one doesn't take coffee breaks or demand stock options. And hey, if Shopify could run my whole life, I'd probably let it. Maybe it could handle that secret underground moon base I've been planning. Anyway, upgrade your business and get the same checkout that I use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. Sometimes we get emails asking us how and why this show sounds so good. It's not magic. It's our sponsor, Rogue Amoeba. Their powerful Mac audio tools make producing this podcast possible and really helps us sound delicious. It's enjoyable. I use Audio Hijack to record and process every single episode. If I can hear it, Audio Hijack can record it. And now with their new Whisper AI-powered transcribe block, it even creates transcripts faster, more efficient, and all locally on my Mac. No cloud nonsense. Then there's Farrago, which runs our theme music and sound effects with the press of a button, because nothing says pro podcast like hitting a jingle at just the right time, right? You know, you got to be able to do that. And Loopback, it's my secret weapon, routing audio between all apps like some kind of virtual switchboard operator from the 1940s, only way faster. And then off the mic on my non-podcast Mac, I'm using Sound Source to control the volume of every app and control the volume of those speakers that the Mac can't control the volume for. It makes it work. Look, if Rogue Amoeba made kitchen appliances, I'd probably have them running my blender by now. But until then, they've got your audio and mine covered. Visit macaudio.com/brain to grab free trials of everything and save 20% with code BRAIN through May. That's macaudio.com/brain. Level up your audio and start living that charmed life, folks. And our thanks to Rogue Amoeba for sponsoring this episode. You know, Shannon, you reminded me earlier that of a thing I say all the time, which is that every business is in the customer service business. We were talking about it pre-show.
Yep.
And we were talking about it pre-show because you have something to add to that about everyone treating everyone, thinking of everyone as a customer.
Yeah. If you're an entrepreneur or if you're the business owner, your customer isn't just your people that pay you money for stuff. This concept is that I believe is everyone is a customer. Your employees, first of all, right? You're constantly trying to attract the best talent, you know. And I remember we had Tech Defenders on years ago. The CEO or whoever, and they talked about all the effort they put into their social media and stuff to attract good talent, right? So your employees are definitely your customer. It's your job, part of your job, to create a place that they can thrive and be productive and do great things, but they're your customer. And I also think your suppliers are your customer, right?
Yes.
You by inverting the concept, the framework of this buyer or supplier client relationship, it really opens up opportunities for you. It saves you money because you get better deals, right? Because your relationships you have with these people, you treat them better. You just there's that law of reciprocity. You get more back. I guarantee if you have a great relationship with the supplier and things are constrained and you needed to get some,
you're going to have an easier time.
The person who's like cool and talk to and they like you and they like to hear your voice, that's who's going to get, get good. And I think it's the same with the people that you hire, like your accountant, your bank, if you have a banker, your insurance guy, or whoever, your attorney, they're your customers too. If you help, I'm going to phrase this. You should be thinking of ways to help them. You should be thinking of ways that you can make their lives better. Because when you do that, it automatically makes them want to make your life better, right? They'll go the extra mile for you.
You know, yes. First of all, yes. And
thank you. That's our show today, folks.
That's it. Well, another way to think about this is, yes, they're all your customers, but one of the things you're really talking about here is attention. Right? This is it's all an attention game, right? We want our customers' attention, right? For good reason. They're the people who spend money with our businesses. Yep. And in some ways it's easy to make our customers feel loved, right? We give them
that's our whole focus, right?
That's the whole focus, right? We give them products or services that are valuable to them. You create things so that it's not a zero-sum game, right? That you can both win together, all of that stuff. That your business is hopefully your business is organized to do that. That's the focus. So
correct.
It's easy. I say it's easy. It's not always it's not always easy. It's simple to come up with a way of running your business that's focused on the people that we'll call your actual customers, right? The people that spend money with you.
It's the default.
It's the default. But what's not the default is what you're talking about here, and that is getting vendors to give you their attention, to choose to give you their attention. Maybe best said, to want to give you their attention.
Yeah.
And yes, you're spending money with them, but presumably you are not their only client. Right. And so it was as you were talking about attorneys, I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is it. Because sometimes I'm fighting to get my attorney's attention.
Right. That's right.
And I understand why. I'm not always their biggest client. In fact, I kind of don't ever want to be.
You don't want to be your attorney's biggest client. No. Let's get that out there.
But then even though I'm, hopefully a small fish to my attorney, when I call him or text him, I want attention quickly. And how do you do that? Well, the day that you need the attention, it's too late, right?
Yeah,
it's too late.
Correct.
So it's paving that path, being kind, and there's nothing in here that's maliciously manipulative, right?
No,
manipulation gets a bad rap, right?
It's persuasion.
It's persuasion. It's just being kind to them and understanding that they're humans and you're a human and relating with them and all of those things. And if you can do that on a regular basis, then, there are times, the nice part is that, and I say this is the nice part, it's really not. If you need attention from one of your suppliers, like an attorney or something like that, and they're not giving it to you, at some point you do get the opportunity to have what people call the come to Jesus conversation. Like, hey, I need you. I understand I'm not your only client, but I am one of your clients, right? You can do that. And you can guilt them a little bit into getting back on track. And that's fine. And that is a card to play at times. But if that's the only card you're ever playing, it's exhausting and it's not going to work.
Yeah. And it's not that you want to do this stuff because you should enjoy it too. If you have some vendor, supplier, accountant, attorney that's a jerk, I don't want to do business with them, so I won't. No. I'm going to move. And I'm going to find somebody that meshes with who I am and who values the time I put into the relationship. And you want them to think of, oh, I'm going to call Dave. I got to call Dave back. Not, who's this guy? What business are we talking about? Oh, I got to call this guy. That doesn't work.
No.
So, you
want them to miss you when when you don't have business for them. Yeah.
Yes. You should call these people or email them. I don't know. Whatever, some sort of regular basis. It's great to talk to your attorney, to your accountant when you don't need anything.
When you're not on the clock. Yeah.
I just wanted to check. Hey, I just want to check in. Thank you. So-and-so. I do this with my accountant after, it's like, hey, Shin she manages our account with my accountant and he's maxed out, doesn't have time, but I like, when we get together, it's great. But I always follow up and say, man, she did a great job. She helped me out with this question. She took care of this. I'm not an easy client. I have 50 plates spinning in the air and paperwork dropping snowflakes that are too late and not enough time. And she always comes through for us. And I always just email my accountant. It's like, hey, thank you so much. She did it. Yeah, I'm paying for the service, but you recognize that. So flip the script. And I would say you should teach your employees this concept too, is that the UPS driver, when they roll up to your warehouse, if you have that kind of business, you want them to know you. You want them to know your warehouse guys. You want them to talk about the football game from the last weekend, because you know what? If a package shows up or something happens, you want that guy's phone number, not the UPS 800 number.
No.
You want to call Larry in the big brown truck and say, Larry, I was supposed to have this package and it says it's this, but it doesn't. And Larry says, hey, you know what? I saw it. It's sitting. I'm going to go drive back and pick it up for you guys.
I got it.
I'll see you at 3:00. And because Larry knows if he shows up Fridays at 1:00, you're going to feed him. right? Because you're barbecuing in the parking lot or whatever.
Whatever.
You make those people's lives better all around you. Whoever interacts with your business, their lives should be impacted in a positive manner. Not just your clients, not just your customers that are paying you money, but everybody around you. And when you do that, you can come back and send us an email at feedback@businessbrain.show and tell us, because I know the results because I did it. I've done it.
Yep.
I do it. And it works.
It's the way to do it.
And everybody thinks highly of you and they value your relationship more. So check it out.
Absolutely.
Let us know how it works for you.
Thanks, folks. Like he said, feedback@businessbrain.show. And keep living that charmed life, would you? And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the show. It's good. We got more episodes. We'll have another one on Friday. Yep. And we're out.
Awesome. One down.
1 down, 3 to go.
Yes,
another town and one more show.
I always look forward to doing these shows, but I'm always like, oh, okay, what are we going to talk about? Okay, I got to figure this out. But then, of course, once I start talking, I can't shut up. So
yeah.
All right. So if you're with us right now, we're in between episodes, and Dave is going to spin some knobs and push some buttons and come up with some material for me to work on after the show that we can kind of run it through production magic and publish it. So, but this is good. So we just recorded episode 634. Is that
tomorrow,
correct?
Yep. Or for Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yep.
And then we're going to do 635 for Friday. We're going to talk about some automation tips and a couple of Gmail tips that I just learned that have probably been around forever, but you never know. I could drop some enlightenment on the crowd. And then if you stick around, we're going to actually record a third episode for April 2nd, which would be 636. And we're going to talk about a couple things. Oh, I must know. It's telling me to capitalize that. That's great. Perfect. All right. Awesome. And then we're going to talk about one of the things we're talking about on April 2nd episode is a conversation I had with a billionaire that was just a casual conversation over beers that really kind of set me back on my feet in a good way.
Yeah. Billionaires are good people to talk to.
They are.
If you can, like they're not easy people to find. Obviously, there's a limited number of them.
There are a few hundred of them in the country or something like that.
I think it really is. Yeah.
It's
probably right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So stick around. It's going to be interesting. And we're going to talk about how you could win a MacBook that we're giving away as well. I bet you didn't know that if you just joined us, live streamer 259.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. And these are rookie numbers. Let's get going. We gotta rack these numbers up. 261. Right. Okay, keep going. Got to get over 500 here. All right.
I'm ready to rock.
I'm ready whenever you are. Let's go.
Okay. Let's do it. 635 is up next. Here we go. Business Brain, episode 635 for Casual Friday, March 28th, National Hot Tub Day 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas and we crunch them, we dissect them, we use them to tune our business brains and yours collectively so that we can each keep living those charmed lives. Shopify.com/businessbrain is one of our sponsors. That's where you can go to sign up for your $1 per month trial period. And macaudio.com/brain are the folks at Rogue Amoeba, where you can go download trial versions of all of the software that we use to produce this show. You can use it to do all kinds of things. Coupon code BRAIN saves you 20%, including transcribing on your Mac. We'll talk more about both of those in a minute. Here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm still out here in Northern California. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. National Hot Tub Day, man. Putting a hot tub in at our house was one of the best things that we've ever done. Lisa was just saying it to me last night.
That's
and
awesome.
The reason that we really like it is it's one place where we can go where we are at home, free of all distractions, electronics. I mean, certainly we can have music playing. We often don't even have that, but I can bring my phone out there. My phone's waterproof, obviously. Have I? Yes. But most of the time, no. It's just nice to have 30 minutes where I'm either alone or we're there. We talk to each other. It's a great decompression.
Yeah, I agree.
Moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have one too. It's a game changer. I really like it.
It really is. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And
it's really nice in the winter to go out.
Of course.
That's so nice being outside. Time. It's like, 20 degrees and you can just enjoy the outdoors when it's, not a time when it's normally nice to be outside. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about hot tubs, but this is not a show about hot tubs. So.
But it is National Hot Tub Day.
It is National Hot Tub. That's true. But hey, I want to share, we typically have AI and automation, discussions today. And I found a couple of Gmail tips that I didn't know about that I'm sure they've been around forever. And I'm probably the last person to learn these tricks, but I'm going to share them here anyway, because you just never know.
No, we have a segment on Mac Geek Gab that it's our most recently added segment. Well, not really, but called Quick Tips. And the whole definition of a quick tip is a thing that you don't even think about doing because it's something you know. Right. And when someone else sees you do it, they go, wait, what? Yeah, what? I had no idea. Yeah. Or conversely, you see someone else do that, and it's what? It's that kind of thing. So there's nothing wrong. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the first one's real straightforward. I use text expander apps, every day, right? I'm expanding. You type a few letters and the whole paragraph automatically magically shows up. But I find I have a hard time sometimes keeping track of all the abbreviations and everything. Yeah. So I was like, and I'm in Gmail for, I have a bunch of Gmail accounts I do different things with. And I just didn't even really know before that Gmail had built-in templates that you can create to respond. And not only are they, what I love about it is it automatically fills out the subject line and the content, right? So I'm going to respond. And then if you tweak it, like as you develop a thing, you just click one little button to save it as the new template every time.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so I don't have to I want to go replace this. I want to do that. It'll just say you changed that. Do you want to save it as the new template? And I say, no, this was just a one-off. Or yes, this makes it better because, we're constantly refining ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And the way we communicate. So I can't believe I only implemented it a couple weeks ago, and I use it dozens of times per day now. And it's amazing. So Gmail templates, just Google it.
How much of your mail do you manage in Gmail as opposed to in a client app on your computer?
80%.
Interesting.
Yeah. It works pretty well for me.
No, it works well for a lot of people. Yeah, there's nothing.
It works great.
Yeah.
It works great.
Interesting.
Another Gmail tip, and I don't know if this is the case for other email clients. You could tell me, Dave. You probably know, but Gmail. And my son-in-law told me this trick, and I was like, wait, what? How long has this been around? And it is the concept that you can append. So let's say you want to sign up for the Business Brain newsletter. At
businessbrain.show.
Yep. But you want to signify, okay, I want to track that email. We don't, of course, sell your data, but maybe you sign up for some other place and you're like, you know what? I want to know. So if it's your email address is yourname@gmail.com. Well, if you sign up for that newsletter, your name with the plus sign and some sort of indicator like plus biz or plus, I don't know. Yep. If you bought a kayak, you could say plus kayak. Well, that email's still going to get to you and you'll be able to track what happens to it. So if all of a sudden you start getting a bunch of spam from the plus kayak, you can go back to those guys and say, hey, jerks, you sold my data. Now I'm getting all this garbage. Does it work with every email app or just Gmail?
Yes. No, plus addressing is a thing that is a standard, if you will. Ish. I don't want to say that it's everywhere, but most email
get it.
Providers allow that. Now the downside to it being a standard is that spammers can look and say, all right, well, go in and cut the plus. Right,
That's
of course.
True.
But it is helpful. I use it. Yes, you can use it for finding out who sold your address. With the caveat I just mentioned. However, where it's really helpful is knowing that, okay, the thing sent to, Dave plus Business Brain should go into a different folder, get a different label, or filtering. Yeah, that's super helpful for that. Yeah.
So, I just thought that was interesting. It's like little small things that have a big impact on your time. Like, I'm looking forward to you talking about more automation here on this episode, because I'm definitely reaching the peak now of my time with my current business. And I'm like, man, I have to automate this. I have to stop and automate this more. And this is one way that's...
it's a great way to automate things. Yeah. All right. Selling merch for my other podcasts and even my other businesses used to feel like trying to juggle flaming swords blindfolded. But then I started using our sponsor, Shopify. And now it's so smooth. It almost seems like Shopify is secretly reading my mind. They're not, but it's so good. Nobody does selling better. Shopify powers the #1 checkout on the planet. And with Shop Pay boosting conversions up to 50%, it's like having a virtual salesperson working 24/7, except this one doesn't take coffee breaks or demand stock options. And hey, if Shopify could run my whole life, I'd probably let it. Maybe it could handle that secret underground moon base I've been planning. Anyway, upgrade your business and get the same checkout that I use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/businessbrain, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. Sometimes we get emails asking us how and why this show sounds so good. It's not magic. It's our sponsor, Rogue Amoeba. Their powerful Mac audio tools make producing this podcast possible and really helps us sound delicious. It's enjoyable. I use Audio Hijack to record and process every single episode. If I can hear it, Audio Hijack can record it. And now with their new Whisper AI-powered transcribe block, it even creates transcripts faster, more efficient, and all locally on my Mac. No cloud nonsense. Then there's Farrago, which runs our theme music and sound effects with the press of a button, because nothing says pro podcast like hitting a jingle at just the right time, right? You got to be able to do that. And Loopback, it's my secret weapon, routing audio between all apps like some kind of virtual switchboard operator from the 1940s, only way faster. And then off the mic on my non-podcast Mac, I'm using Sound Source to control the volume of every app and control the volume of those speakers that the Mac can't control the volume for. It makes it work. Look, if Rogue Amoeba made kitchen appliances, I'd probably have them running my blender by now. But until then, they've got your audio and mine covered. Visit macaudio.com/brain to grab free trials of everything and save 20% with code BRAIN through May. That's macaudio.com/brain. Level up your audio and start living that charmed life, folks. And our thanks to Rogue Amoeba for sponsoring this episode. All right. Before we get into what will be Friday AI today, I wanted to share a review that we got from from KDU472. Of course, this was, you can leave your own review at businessbrain.show/review. And KDU472 says, besides, the title of the review, 5 stars, on point all the time. Besides new ideas on how to use AI, Dave and Shannon, often simply remind us of things we should be doing. It's great to have them there to nudge us and steer us when we are heads down in the weeds. Love it. Thank you for saying this, first of all. KDU472, and thanks for sending that in. And because we included this review in the show, and we include all the reviews in the show, you are now entered into our drawing for a MacBook this year. So thank you for that. You get that out of the show, and I'm glad. Like, that's the reason we do the show.
Right.
But as I say at the beginning, it's for all of us. So it's for you, certainly. But the goal is that Shannon and I get to join you in getting that exact same benefit out of the show because we nudge ourselves.
Of course.
Yes.
It's a constant
awesome.
reminder. I tell people like stuff I post on X. I'm like, I'm talking to myself. When I'm saying language matters and this and this and this. It's like, I'm just like repeating that. It's like a affirmation.
Drilling it. It's an affirmation. Drilling it into our heads. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why
That's
we
awesome.
do it.
Thank you for the review. And be sure to send us an email, feedback@businessbrain.show, so we have your email because we don't get that in those reviews. So we want to make sure you, in case you win that MacBook.
Amazing. Thank you. For Friday Eye today, I've been thinking about a lot of things. And one of the best things we can all do is to limit distractions, limit things upon which we need to spend brain power every day. And, well, we need to limit the things upon which we spend brain power. There are those things that we do every single day. And if you can automate one of those, even if it only takes you 30 seconds times 365, this stuff adds up.
Yeah.
And so my advice here for Friday Eye this week is to automate everything that you possibly can. And really, it doesn't have to be super complex. Even just turning on and off your lights is something that you can do easily with automation. You get smart home lights, you install them. They're really easy. You can use your, if you have the Amazon A lady or the Google G lady or the Apple S lady, they can all do these automations. So it's like, at sundown, I have my outdoor lights come on, and at 1 a.m. I have them turn off because we stay up pretty late. But, all of that was one of the biggest things. It was like, oh, shoot, I'm in the middle of something. This is where it really pays off. I'm in the middle of doing something. I realize, it's dark outside. I got to go turn the lights on so that the lights are on. Now I've taken myself out of whatever I'm doing. I turn the lights on. Sure, it's 30 seconds to get up, go turn the lights on, sit back down. But it's 15 minutes of refocusing to really get back in the zone. And I don't have to do it. And then it's, before bed, I get into bed. It's like, oh, shoot, the lights are still on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude. Okay.
Yep.
One of my favorite things, I'll stay with lights, and this requires no coding. There's no AI involved, except maybe to find the right one for you. But in my garage, I put up these lights that are motion sensitive so that every time I walk in my garage, the lights turn on. And when I leave the garage, after a minute, they turn back off. I never thought that would make such a difference, but it does. It's like, did I leave the light in the garage on? Yes, I absolutely left it on because it's going to turn itself off. Yes, 100% of the time.
It's clearing space in your head, right? Because it just takes up space, and it's like, there's that old adage, right? If you can do something in less than 2 minutes, just do it.
Just do it right away because you're already focusing on it.
Yeah, you're already thinking about it, and if you can get it done, because the more you churn it and think about it, and like I have this thing, I wake up super early, like 4 a.m, and I'll sit there like, oh yeah, I gotta get that done.
Yes.
I gotta get that done.
Oh man, that's the worst.
It is
that's
the worst. So the more I can offload automating with reminders, automating my calendar, like that, automating my calendar, giving up making appointments, changed my life.
Letting others make appointments on your calendar with parameters that you've set.
You have to really drill it down, and you'll get.
Which service do you use for that?
I use Calendly.
You do, okay.
There's a bunch of them.
Yes, of course.
But setting parameters of different types of calls, I can't tell you how amazing it is, because if you've got your I don't know. I even use it personally. I'm like, hey, you want to come here, book it, schedule it. So I'm sure, unless of course you can just jump on a call right now. But
yes, right.
I book, or I send out links like, here's a 15-minute call.
Yeah.
Here's a 30-minute call. Here's an hour. Yeah. And then, I mean, it just, once I send it, unless I'm looking for that client to hire me, that's different. That's different because there's a whole funnel and a whole automation.
Yes.
Automation's involved in that.
I was just going to say that's also not manual, right?
No, because when someone books a call for me, a paid call, there's a sequence of things that happens for them before our call starts, because I want them. I'm trying to. I already have some credibility, right? They already paid me because they pay
presumably
on my calendar. When they book that call, Calendly handles the payment. And then it also automates information I'm going to send to them to prepare for the call. So the more you can automate, that's the most simple example, your lights or your
yes. Start with something simple and see the value of it. Yeah. And then let that be the thing that leads you to do more and more and more. And AI can be your friend. Like if you think, crap, how would I go about automating this? Well, certainly there's podcasts that you can ask about that, and like my Mac Geek Gab podcast, we get those questions all the time. But ChatGPT, like the AIs that are out there, they're really good at teaching you how to do these things. And what's great about it is when they're wrong, you find out immediately because you go and you implement, okay, this is how I automate this. That didn't work. Go back to the AI. Tell it, that didn't work. Here's what happened instead. And it'll say, oh, of course that happened instead. I gave you the wrong instructions. Here's the right instructions. You can ask questions about why it did that, but
Yeah. So I got, for Christmas, I've got this like neon on air sign, right? So when I'm recording, it says on air, so everybody would know. And then, but they also, my son-in-law and daughter gave it to me. They with a smart switch.
Yeah.
So when you select, I go to podcast in my Focus on the Mac, there's a shortcut that turns on that light. And so I had it in my office and I was thinking, wait, it shouldn't be in my office.
No, you don't need to see the light.
It needs to be down at the house.
Yes.
It needs to be. So it's down at the house so that when my wife's like, oh, what's the timing? She doesn't have to look at the calendar. So you go, oh, you're on a call. So anytime I go on a call, anytime I change that, then you could see it. So ask yourself, you should be in your head, how can I automate this?
That's it.
Constantly.
Once you do a few of these, it will become habitual. And I've got lots of things to talk about in terms of things you want to habitualize. But we'll do that on another episode. So automate your life and have the AI, have ChatGPT help you with this.
Test it out.
It's good at it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Feedback at businessbrain.show. Send us your favorite ideas for automation. We'll share them on the show. Absolutely. Yep. And, make sure to go to businessbrain.show/review so that you can sign up, so you can send in a review and sign up to win that MacBook. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, folks.
Yep.
Later. Keep on living that charmed life, would you? Then we're out.
Awesome.
Now I got to go back to the between episodes thing.
There you go. That's good you remembered that. Yes. And we've got about 100 more live streamers that joined us. So if you're just joining us, normally this is where we say goodbye, but we're going to record a third episode.
One more
live stream. And so we have a couple of good topics that I think you want to hang around to listen to. And then... And so right now what Dave is doing is prepping the episode we just recorded so I can go and do some post-production. We don't do very much, which is great. Much of it is automated, just like what we were talking about.
That's right. Yes, automate. Yeah,
fantastic.
That's right. Yep.
It's a huge thing. And, it's gotten much more streamlined, and we don't edit very much. We just
try not to.
Try not to. Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes
screw up or something like that. But it's terrific. Very good. Very good.
All right, that's uploading. Now I just got to go put this here.
And if you have any, if you're watching the live stream, if you have any comments, it looks like most of you coming from X, some folks on Facebook. But hit that. There's a comment
button.
That's the term I was looking for.
That'll
Come
be
in,
the
post
one.
a comment, ask a question. We'd be glad to actually interact while we are live. Right? Oh, that's the wrong thing I just pressed. But this is the comment section.
Oh, I should put a link in for the review.
Here we go.
Business.
There we go. Okay.
Show/review. Okay.
Awesome.
That's better. Oh, I got to move that up too.
Well, I always wondered if we live stream the show, if we could do a Spaces at the same time.
We could. We'd have to do the Spaces separately. Like I think
feed, if you will.
I think the only way you can do can you do a space from your Mac? Can you do it in the web browser?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Or does it have to be from your phone? I think it's your phone, right?
No way.
Maybe not. I thought I may be confusing all of this.
X. Yeah, hang on. Spaces. It might. I want to look it up. Desktop Zuno needs methods. Spaces you find blind. Oh, filter spaces. Lifesaver. Thanks. Oh, okay. If you go here, search bar. Oh, you can find them here, but search filters. That's a good question. I don't know.
I thought it was.
Can't just be on your phone. That's ridiculous, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
well. You might be right. As the profile jobs premium spaces. Home. Spaces. Search spaces. Follow. Join whenever. Spaces feedback. Yeah, let's find out. It does look, I don't see a spaces button on here, but I have once you start the space,
right,
you can connect to it on desktop. But
correct. You can, you can't, but you can't stream it.
Yeah. On mobile, there's actually the button spaces button right here. So we'd have to, probably could just stream it. Well, you'd only hear one side of the conversation, but I'm sure we could figure out a way to do it.
Oh, I mean, I have both sides of the conversation here, but it would, that's right.
How you would have to go through somebody's mobile, and how would that?
Rogue Amoeba's software would be involved in this.
Yeah,
seriously,
sure.
Like that's how part of it would work. Yeah. All right,
that's
so
cool.
now we're about to do 636. So let me pull up my notes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. Okay. I'm ready to rock.
I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
Okay. Here goes nothing. 36 for Wednesday, April 2nd. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Business Brain, episode 636 for Wednesday, April 2nd, National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day, 2025. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, some thoughts, some things, some stuff we've encountered. We analyze it, we use it to help tune our business brains so that we can each keep on living those charmed lives here in Durham, New Hampshire on PB&J Day. I love a good PB&J. I'm Dave Hamilton.
Here in Northern California, I'm Shannon Jean, and I want to tell you I've had a PB&J in the last 12, let's just say 24 hours.
Yeah, I've had one in the last 3 hours. So
there you go. I love it too. On toasted. I had mine. I guarantee mine was probably different. I had mine on a toasted brioche.
Oh, wow.
fancy. It was very
fancy.
Nice.
That's a highfalutin PB&J.
Very bougie.
There's nothing wrong with a bougie PB&J.
It was glorious.
I like the like bougie peanut butter and a nice strawberry preserves.
Me too.
Like,
Me too.
It's good.
And I love to have it with a side of barbecue potato chips because you get that savory and the sweet. Woo! Yeah, man, it's crazy.
I can see that. That's good. That's good.
But that's it. That's it. So what are we talking about today, Dave?
Yeah, I was at South by Southwest recently.
Yeah.
And, you know, I South by is an interesting conference for me. I go there for a lot of reasons, meetings with people, and more of those are happening now that more industries that I'm involved in are kind of using South by Southwest as a home base. But there are 3 conferences happening.
Convergence of different stuff, kind of like Comdex and the CES show, how they eventually became one show.
Yeah, well, but South by just keeps adding their own. They're not bringing other things in.
Okay,
right?
Got it.
But like now there's starting to be a podcasting segment as part of the tech conference, and so that means that like people that would not have gone in the past now go, and so I get to meet with some of those folks, which is great. So there are 3 conferences that happen kind of as part of South by Southwest. 4 really, if you count the education one, but evidently I didn't. So there's the tech conference, there's the music conference, and there's a film conference. And there's things that, happen at all of those, in each of those conferences. And I look at them ahead of time and I build a schedule, and it's like, okay, yep, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to see this, I want to attend this talk, I want to see this band, I want to see this film. What's interesting is that, I go with 3 of my podcasts in mind, right? This one, of course, Mac Geek Gab, which is the show that I do for tech, and then Gig Gab, which I do for musicians. And what's interesting is when I build my schedule, I'll have it in my head like, oh, this will be something I'll cover on Gig Gab, or this will be something I'll cover on Business Brain, or whatever.
Yeah.
More often than I would predict, I wind up changing my decision as to where the coverage is going to go as I learn more about the thing. And that was certainly the case when I went to see Strange Journey, which is a documentary that's been produced. And I don't know if it has distribution yet, but of course they're working on it. That's what the film festival is about. One of the purposes. Strange Journey, the story of Rocky Horror. Now, as a drummer, I have played drums in the Rocky Horror musical probably 100 times, right?
Nice.
And so I thought, okay, well, and I've talked about that on Gig Gab over the years. So I thought, of course, this will be a Gig Gab thing. And I went to see the movie. The first thing that was really interesting to me was in line for the movie. Obviously, there were other Rocky Horror fans, interested people around me. And when I said to them, I admitted to them, which still remains true, that I have never seen the movie Rocky Horror. I've never seen from the audience. I'd never even seen clips until the documentary. From the audience perspective, I've never seen the musical either. I've only seen it from like upstage center where my drum set is. Yeah. Now I understand the story. It took a little while to be able to memorize the show enough to be able to pay attention to what else was going on stage. But you do it 100 times. It kind of happens whether you want it to or not. Yeah. And as I was saying this to people, they're like, "Wow, that's really that's an interesting thing." I'm like, "Yep." And they said, "I didn't even know there was a musical," was what most of these people said. Everybody around me, no one around me in line knew that there was a musical of this.
You mentioned this to me last week, and I said, I just thought it was just the movie.
Right. Yeah. Well, it turns out the musical came first. And it was, as I watched the movie, I decided this was definitely a Business Brain thing. But yes, for those of you out there, the musical came first. It was created by primarily by a guy named Richard O'Brien. His son Linus O'Brien directed and produced the documentary. Which was great because obviously he had access to, know. So we always talk about what's your unfair competitive advantage in whatever business you're in. Linus's is that his dad created the thing that he was doing a movie about, so he had access to the right people to make a documentary, and he did it is a fantastic movie. If you get a chance to see it, even if you're not a Rocky Horror fan, you're going to want to watch it. So they explain how this started as a musical. It did very well in London. It was like immediately sold out as soon as they kind of started. Obviously, they created it first, but once it hit, it kind of became this. There was a buzz about it, and it was hard to get tickets and all those things. They eventually brought it to L.A., and I'm skipping over a lot because you're going to see that when you watch the movie, folks. But they eventually brought it to L.A. and showed it at the Roxy Theater, which is a stage, but has kind of a theatrical. It feels like a theater and a place where you could go see a rock show, right? Frank Zappa's famous album at the Roxy was at that same theater. But so they did it there, and Lou Adler saw it there and said, "Okay, I can make a movie of this." Okay, and so he brought people around to kind of buy into the vision and buy into the project and all that stuff. And one of the pieces that was really interesting was Richard O'Brien, who plays Riff Raff. If you've ever seen the movie or the play or the musical rather, Richard O'Brien not only wrote the songs and conceived of the whole thing and wrote it, he starred in it as Riff Raff, including the movie, which is an interesting thing. He had people approaching him, especially after it was in L.A. Or while it was in L.A. People like Mick Jagger, and other, like folks with money were like, "Oh, hey, I want to make a movie of this. I just want to buy the rights from you." And Lou Adler told him, "Don't do that." And he said, "Why not?" He says, "Because then you don't get to own it."
Yeah.
And so they produced it themselves. Well, Lou was part of the production, but they were able to keep their rights while partnering with people who were going to produce it, not just selling to people who were going to produce it. But they had some risk in the game, right? If you want to potentially have the upside, you got to have the risk in it. And so they did. They produced this movie on a shoestring budget. It was less than $1 million to produce this movie. And they were able to keep many of the same cast that had been in the musical, which was atypical. It's still atypical to do that. Obviously, they brought Meatloaf in. They brought Susan Sarandon in. There were a couple other people were brought in to play roles. But by and large, you see Richard O'Brien. He's in the movie. You see, my gosh, why can't I think of it? Tim Curry.
Tim Curry? Yeah.
Yep. He was from London. Yeah, in the stage show. Yeah, exactly. So, they did that. They produced the movie. Okay. Now they release the movie. It flops for the most part. They put it in. I didn't mark down the town. I probably did actually, but they previewed the movie in Santa Barbara, California, and Santa Barbara. They pointed out is an interesting town because it's full of half college kids and half senior citizens.
Yeah.
Okay. So they watched as people were coming out of the film early, and mostly the people that were coming out of the film when the film finally ended were the college students. That's who was left. So they're like, okay. So but the smart thing was they were just paying attention. They were failing, and learning, right? And
capturing the data.
Even if it was just anecdotal data, right? So, but this is the value of anecdotal data, and the plural of anecdote is not data. So anecdotal information is maybe the right way to say this.
Yeah.
So they noticed, okay, college students, all right, okay, so maybe there's maybe that's our market. Younger people might get this and be into it. And at this point, none of the callbacks or any of those things that we as a culture know about Rocky Horror. There was none of the callbacks to the screen.
People
none of the
singing, throwing
the rice and all that crap. Yeah. By the way, if you're going to go see the musical, don't bring stuff to throw. It turns out those of us on stage, we're real. So we don't want stuff thrown at us. But none of that existed at this point, right? It was just the show. And it was built to be this campy thing. It was built to be, tongue-in-cheek might not be the right word, but, they knew what they were creating, sort of.
Sure.
And so they said, okay, great. College students. All right. They're trying it. And theaters are like, well, I don't know. Finally, they said, all right, well, what if we show it at midnight? Yeah. This way, we're not taking money out of your pocket. You can run three shows.
Yeah.
We're just adding a thing, and all you got to do is pay a projectionist, and you probably sell enough tickets to offset that cost. And so they did this in 2 theaters to start: the Waverly in New York City, and ironically, the Paramount in Austin, which it turns out is the theater that I was sitting in watching the world premiere of this, which was cool. Right. And so they would, these 2 theaters agreed to run it Friday, Saturday night. And so they kind of, the partners in the thing said, okay, well, you call on Monday mornings, you call New York, I'll call Austin, and we'll just find out, see how it goes, see how it's been. So they're like 3 weeks in, Lou Adler calls Austin on the 3rd Monday or whatever and says, how'd it go? And the theater manager says, now it's worth noting, because I was in the theater experiencing this, the Paramount holds about 1,200 people. It is a large movie theater. It's where they host all the world premieres at South by Southwest. It's a gorgeous theater. The seats are horribly uncomfortable, but it's a gorgeous theater. And so they call the manager, how was it? Yeah, about 50 people for each performance. And Lou's like, okay. I don't know. And the guy says, yeah, but here's something interesting. It's the same 50 people.
Coming back.
Yeah. And Lou said, okay, that is important information. And they were finding the same thing in New York. And they're like, all right, what we need to do is just put this out there and let the right people find it. And of course, putting it in the right markets, that would have the right kind of people. And sure enough, it today now, of course, is the longest running movie ever. And I can't imagine what it will take for something to beat that, because it still runs every weekend somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere at
and
midnight,
not just somewhere, many somewheres, right?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
And so they didn't find their audience. The audience found them. But it's just like the idea of paying attention to what your pivot is going to be with your business, right? And, this was 2 theaters. This is April of 1976. It was in 2 theaters. By 1978, it was in 50 theaters, right? Wow. Now it's in hundreds of theaters, right? Yeah. The shout outs, all of that audience participation stuff, that didn't start until September of 1976. The whole idea of wearing costumes didn't start until Halloween performance. And then, of course, it was like, well, we could do this for every performance. And it developed a community. And, they said something interesting. I mean, there's a cult around this, right? I mean, there's a whole community. They say how much
revenue it's generated in...
They did not. No, but Richard O'Brien did say, it turns out that creating something like this is a heck of an annuity.
I could imagine, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Now it's in, 200 to 300 theaters every weekend. There's more in October. They'll, create theaters for it to play in October's. Yeah. But, they said something which really, is you don't make cults. Audiences make cults.
Yeah, that's true.
And once I've been involved in things that started like this. I was involved in a production called Bitter Pill years ago, and we put it together. It was this weird thing where there was music and live performance, and it's very hard to describe, but it was basically live acted music videos. That's not nearly enough of a description of it, but that's as close as we need to get here. And it was the same thing. We booked a 3-week run. We put this thing out. After the first night, the rest of the run was sold out. Half of those tickets were sold to the same people.
Yeah, that's
They
wild.
wanted to see it. And then the rest were people clamoring to get in the door to this place. And it was like, okay, wait a minute. We've got something here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there were too many different creative minds at work, and there was a huge clash, and it never really went anywhere after that. But
I looked it up. So it's totals about $500 million in revenue, $140 million in lifetime box office, $200 million. These are estimates. Home media, DVD, VHS, all that stuff.
Sure.
50 million merchandise sales, licensing and live performances, 75 million, soundtrack sales, 35 million, 500 million. That's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
The lesson here is, obviously the pivot, everything else, but you want to own your content. You can share it on social media if you want. Yeah, you can share it, but you must own it. And because you will get that residuals in one way or another. It may not be monetary like this, but it will be, you can get your customers and your credibility and all that kind of stuff. So you must you create your content offline and then you can share it, but you retain ownership of it.
You own it. Yep.
That's awesome. It's a great
and if
story.
you want an example of the opposite of that, look at somebody like, who was also at South by Southwest, John Fogerty, right? Yep. He just recently, in the last few years, got the rights to all of his songs back. But he spent most of his life and career not owning the rights at all to any of those Creedence songs.
Brutal.
And it was because they signed a bad contract. It happens all the time.
It's a cautionary tale over and over and over and over. Young artist,
right,
trying to get ahead, just does their,
it's
signs
very,
anything.
Very tempting. Like even in this, Richard O'Brien was like, "Wait, why don't I want to sell the rights? This is why I did this." And Lou Adler's like, "Because then you can't do it yourself." That hugely valuable. So,
awesome.
Yeah,
good story.
Yeah. So, hopefully the movie will get distribution. And you'll be able to see it, and we'll let you know. We'll keep an eye on it. But very, very well done. And I skipped over many things. I obviously focused on the business aspect of it here, but yeah. It was really good stuff.
So I want to share.
We don't really have a whole. We're at like the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I want to share this story, but I think I'll save it for.
You want to save it? Great.
Yeah, because
save it.
It's worth. So come back.
I agree. Yeah.
We'll do it next week or the following week. It's this. We'll do the story of a conversation I had with a billionaire that really resonated with me and a lot of other people. I posted it on my X feed this weekend, and there's a lot of nuance to it that we can break down. I think it would be worthwhile. Yeah. But thanks for sharing that. I thought it was fascinating. Great story.
It's fascinating. Yeah, really. Like I said, I thought it was going to be a gig gab thing, and then I got 30 minutes in. It was like, oh man, what a business. Holy crap. Yeah.
Own your content. Yep.
Own your content. Absolutely. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. Feedback at businessbrain.show, where we own all of our content, but you own. All you do is give us a non-exclusive right to your emails to share them in the show. They remain yours. There it is. We'll see you on Friday.
See you
later. All right. Yep, we're between episodes. Oh, well, we're done now. Yeah.
We're gonna do so, folks. We're going to hop off the live stream. We're going to record one episode. We're going to see how it goes, whether we release it or not. But I think we will. But I think we will. Yeah. But anyway, thanks for joining us, hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your week. It is only Monday, and we'll see you soon. These episodes come out Wednesday and Friday in every podcast app you can imagine. See ya
later. Make sure to add me back